Yo, this is Swift from Hope's Anchor, and you're watching Good Company with Scott Bowling.
Good Company!
Hey guys, my name's Scott Bowling, and you're watching Good Company. Today we have Swift. Swift is the lead singer of Hope's Anchor. Hope's Anchor is working on, or actually finished, their second album. The first sing-off, that's Light Switch. So we're definitely going to talk to Swift about Hope's Anchor, man. Thank you for being here, brother.
No problem. I'm so excited to be here, man.
So when did you guys form, exactly?
We got together in 2008, but we wasn't really a band yet. So we kind of started playing out around 2010. We were just in the basement writing and creating, and I tapped my good buddy Corey Larry on the shoulder, and I asked him to come alongside us and co-write and produce. He said yes. We were all excited, so we went in the studio. Took us about 11 months to finish what we wanted to do. But
so kind of going even, like just you saying Corey Lowry, I mean, how long have you been doing music for? I mean,
Well, I started out when I was about 19. I got an exciting job singing back up and touring with Little Richard.
Wow.
The
How'd you get that
legendary
gig, man?
music. It's really like a book, you know, like a fairy tale story. I was in a boy band kind of. We was a group when we used to do New Edition.
Nice.
And so we actually met the manager of New Edition, Brooke Payne, and he said, meet me out in LA. I can get you guys some work. So we went out to LA really to meet him, and this is how, you know, God works. So we were walking down the street. We were just completely intimidated by Hollywood. We were teenagers. Just getting out of high school. One of us was still in high school. And we was like, all right, Lord, just let us meet someone. And I am not joking, like literally crossed the street, like 45 seconds after the prayer, walked down the street, and Little Richard leans over his balcony and says, hello down there. We looked up and was like, oh my God, it's Little Richard. And so we was a singer group. So we decided, you know what? Hey, can we get an autograph? We just want to take a picture. He said, sure. Made us wait in the lobby for about an hour. So we decided to start practicing. It's like, hey, look, when he opens the door, we're gonna start singing. He opens the door, we start harmonizing right then and there. He laughed, had us to come in. Now, in between that fairy tale story, he hired me as his valet. So I'm ironing socks, I'm ironing underwear. I mean, he's just breaking me in. My first day at work, I meet Eddie Murphy, you know, and I'm like, and he was like, hey, whatever you do, don't ask for photographs or autographs or anything, because you're gonna meet a lot of entertainers. And I'm like, I'm still wanting your autograph, you know. But so long story short, I ended up getting a job with him and touring for 15 years.
Wow.
And
so you toured with him with that group you had from the
No, we
group?
actually, of course, we ended up broken up. Some of them, now, we were lucky enough, me and my best friend since childhood, we actually got the job, separate auditions for it, but we both got it because he came out, he's like, did you get it? He's like, yeah, I got it. So we ended up like, and we're still friends to this day, but we ended up working together touring with Little Richard.
Wow.
Roommates away from home and roommates at home. And now we both got separate careers, and it's great. He's doing well, and this Hope's Anchor thing is taking off for us.
So when you did Hope's Anchor, you know, obviously the music is different from what you originally started, being in like kind of a boy band kind of thing. What made you go in that direction of, you know, want to start a band, like
I was in the band with my buddy Jay, and we toured Europe, and we would do it was like our second job. So we was touring with Little Richard, then we had our own band, and then we got our own little deal and stuff like that. And it was funny because Dr. Dre approached us for a deal, and we were so impatient because we was young and stupid. And he was like, hey man, if you can just wait till, you know, I got this new cat that I'm working on named 50 Cent. And I thought, 50 Cent, what kind of name is that for a rapper at the time, you know?
Yeah.
And then so as time went on, he was like, well, I got another artist coming out called The Game. And we were like, again, with the names, man, what is going So we were impatient, and we ended up going with this independent label, which didn't work out, but we toured a lot, went to Europe for about a year, We was
And this is all before 2008.
this is all before that came, and
Right.
then after around 2006 or seven, I just turned my life around, and so I completely changed my lifestyle, and I decided to. I was already saved, but I wanted to reinvent myself, and I want to dedicate my life to Christ.
Wow.
And then I decided to do that through music. And, you know, as I was praying and talking to God about it, he was like, well, I need you in the church. So I started singing in the church. Then I met Harry Wally, the bass player, at church. And he was phenomenal. And I was watching him play, and I was like, this dude is awesome. He's just like Geddy Lee. And then I found out that was one of his favorite bass players.
Oh, that's good.
And so in the same likeness, he was sitting in the audience the first time he visited church, Revolution Church in Canton. And he saw me and was like, I got to get with this guy. So we got together and we formed that band that we talked about behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. I remember,
The
yeah.
Lenny Kravitz tribute.
That is awesome, man.
But we didn't think that was work. We did 2 shows.
Like,
and
how
we
did
were
that
like,
conversation go? You're like, I like Lenny Kravitz. You like Lenny Kravitz?
I love Lenny
Yeah,
Kravitz.
then just start a band.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, that would be cool. That would be fun. No one was doing it. But we ended up writing some songs. He had this song called Bend.
Yes, that's a great song.
And then we actually ended up winning International Film Christian Festival. We won an award for that song last year. So that was really cool how it came to fruition. It was about his son who has autism.
Yeah.
And I first heard the bass line. I thought, man, I want to record that. But we had just met 2 months, and he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And I called Corey up. I was like, look, we got to get in the studio. Long story short, that started the band. I knew Ray. Ray was in my previous band. I said, I got a phenomenal guitar player. Let's get together. Let's create this thing. And we started in 2010, started gigging, started doing a lot of churches and stuff like that, and festivals. Atlanta Fest.
Oh, I used to go to that.
Yeah, we got a little start with that too. And so we started touring around, and it became a thing.
That's a big thing when you say touring around. Did everybody have to give up jobs? I mean, this is a big
No,
big
no,
sacrifice.
actually didn't, because like with church scheduling, you know, you can do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and everybody's back at church or going back to work. So we did a lot of youth camps and stuff like that. So we didn't really have to stop working, really. I mean, you know, when in the music business, in order to do that, you're going to have to really start getting established, like really evolving. So we're getting to that point now, but no, we didn't really have to stop working.
Let's talk about your first record.
Yeah,
The song
sure.
Ben's on there, actually. Where'd you guys record this at?
We recorded that at Corey Laurie's studio. I think that was, it's not Intercess. It's not.
Around back, maybe.
It's not open anymore. In fact, it was a huge studio. I'm sorry, I forgot what
No, you're
studio
fine.
it was. But
But you said Corey Lowry produced it on there?
he produced
So,
everything.
wow.
I did my first song with him called Fluttering, this song right here, number 8. And that was the beginning of everything. And I'll never forget, I was leaving that previous band I was with, and I said, hey, Corey, I want to do a solo project, and would you mind? Because we was actually in the middle of doing some stuff with the old band.
Yeah.
And I said, but it's Christian. And he was like, okay, and I was like, oh, cool. And Hope's Anchor was not in the making yet, but it was coming. So we ended up putting it on this record here. Everybody liked the song. I mean, I did the song. They actually let me do it at church at Revolution with a testimony behind it, because it was kind of the changing point of my life. And that's what I wrote that song about. Now, originally, I wrote the song about my wife. And then I kind of put a little twist on it because she was there a lot. I mean, like, if it wasn't for her, like, just being my guardrails in a sense, because there was a lot I was going through. I was coming out of a failed record deal, and so I was dealing with a lot of depression and weird stuff that was just, you know, only she could put up with. And she was strong and punched me in the gut a lot and said, get up, hold your head up high. And so I kind of started writing about her and how I met her and all of that. And then it kind of turned into a God thing and we got baptized together, first of all, at church. And then I was like, I got to write about that. And so Corey kind of helped me, he guided me through that. And that was our first song that I did by myself. And then the band came along and we decided to put it on the record.
Wow, that's powerful.
It was really good. It was a big change in my life too. It was very significant because Hope's Anchor, I don't think would have happened if a lot of things didn't change in my life and my wife didn't push me. She's my biggest critic, so she's always like, if I suck, she'll tell me, and if it's good, she'll say it's good. That's how I know when the show is okay, because she'll go, it was all right. I could tell this was that and that was this, or she'll be like, oh, that was really good. Then I know, all right, so we did a good job.
So do you share? So you wrote that song, but do you share writing with your bass player?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Harry is a huge influence on the writing. He'll have a song halfway written sometimes, and maybe I'll write a second verse or third verse to it, or maybe a bridge or whatever. But he's a phenomenal writer. There's tons of songs in here. He did Runaway, and I think we just had a chorus. And then sometimes Ray will come in and play a riff, and I'll hear something or Harry will hear something. So whoever gets to the mic first, and then we'll start writing that way. But a lot of time, it's a big collaborative effort. That song on this record, Light Switch, I think that kind of came to me as I was thinking about, I forgot. Oh, I know what I was doing, this men's study, and Ray was playing this riff, and I thought, like a light switch, man, this went off, and everybody was like, that's hooky, keep that. And so, of course, we all just started writing together. And then Corey is like the sixth member, so he'll come in, he'll be like, well, take that word out and put this word in. I mean, he's always editing our stuff. We'll have a 10-minute song. He'll be like, but you need to. So he's always been the guy that would come in and go, well, not really. That's too much. And that. So he gets credit for a lot of writing, but we all share that writing. Mm-hmm. Jeff Wood, our drummer, who, by the way, we was going to his studio. That's the studio we went in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. So we went into Lighthouse Studio, and this is how Jeff ended up in our band. Our drummer, I know I'm switching subjects here, but this is important. Our drummer he said, you know what, I like the fact that I like this band, I like the music, but I don't know if this is something I really want to be a part of. He's a really good guy. He was Harry's college buddy. Phenomenal dude. We're still friends to this day. He still come to our shows. And we were at Jeff's studio, and Jeff kept saying, oh, I'm going to come down. I'm going to come down. I'm coming down. Never met him. Didn't even put two and two together. My wife went to his wedding.
Oh, wow.
Friends with his wife, right? And I never put the two together. And then he came down the steps, and I was like, wait a second. I know this guy. And Corey was like, well, hey, I know a phenomenal drummer. I know a good dude. Jeff. And I was like, Jeff, the owner of the studio? He said, yeah. And so that's when Jeff joined the band, which was in 2015, I think, 15 or 16. He just got in on it. And so he started writing a lot of stuff. So he helped write with Light Switch. And then we had Rich to come in and play guitar on Devil Be Gone, which is on this record as well. And he killed a phenomenal solo. But I think now Ray has played that solo. So he's still in the band.
Real fast, going back to this, when you guys
Sure.
did He's Love, the video, that's a great video. That's your first video, right?
He's Love, I think. I don't
I'm sorry.
I don't remember that video.
No, I'm sorry. Not that one. It's Runaway.
Runaway.
I'm sorry.
Runaway. Yeah. There is a video out there of He's Love, by the way, so you're not wrong, Scott. That's one of my favorite songs. We don't do it live because it's so hard.
Is it?
But I can stack it. It's a tough song. By the time I get to the second chorus, I'm out of breath.
Are you?
It's so fast. It's such a locomotive. But yeah, Runaway was our first.
Look at that. It's on right now.
Yeah, that was our first. There's Jeff right there.
Yeah.
And Ray on guitar, Harry's on bass. Those are my brothers. I love those guys. Of We actually do hang out. We actually do. We are friends. We're not just a band.
Nice.
But yeah, we actually love each other. But yes, Runaway was one of our release that we did, and we're gonna re-release this one too. But that was one of our first videos that we did. Yes.
Yes.
And it got a lot of traction, and you know, we filmed this in Canton. And then there's a green room that's out in Atlanta somewhere that they do all of these rap videos and stuff. I can't remember the name of the studio. I don't know what's wrong with me. I
it's all
can't
good.
remember stuff. But yeah, so back to Runaway. That was our first video we did. It picked up a little traction for us, and people started noticing us after we did that, and got a lot of YouTube hits. So we got excited about that, and so we was like, hey, we should do another record. First of all, we got a whole trunk load of songs that we want to put all on one CD right now, but we know we can't. We got to do it in tiers.
Well, that's good, man.
So we write a lot all the time. All the time. We're always writing.
I have one more question. I keep going back to your old album because it's really good. Summers with Anna. What is that? Did you write that song?
No, that song is from Harry Wally.
Okay.
The bass player. He's the co-writer, really. I mean,
Right.
me and him always getting together and doing stuff a lot. So Summers with Anna is about Harry's grandmother. And we just kind of changed the name to protect the innocent.
Okay.
But it was about his life growing up and his grandmother, the things she instilled in him. And then I kind of blended a little bit of my story in there. So I co-wrote with that. And then Corey added a little bit of his story in there, and that's how we came up with Summers with Anna, you know.
That's awesome, man.
And talked about who would have thought that your story would have left a mark on mine, and how we share it with our kids now, how she was such an influence of, you know, always talking to us about God, but in a loving way and not in a Bible thumping way. Nothing against Bible thumpers, because I consider myself one, but in a way that, you know, you were excited about loving God. You know, it's such a sweet way, in a sweet manner. And it was only in the summertime that you ever got the chance to experience that, because, you know, your mom would drop you off at grandma's for the summer, and she let you do all the cool stuff like, you know, have Twinkies and drink Pepsi or
Yeah.
Coke, or, you know, all the stuff you can't do at home, and make you pancakes in the morning, and, you know, I'm reminiscing now about my grandma. but you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of that experience that we had collectively, and we just kind of told bits and pieces of our grandmothers and how they was influential on our lives, and talked about God as we were growing up in a sweet way. And what was crazy is that all of us experienced the same thing. And it turned into a song. So it was really cool. It was really cool.
So how long did you guys go on the road for this first album? Did you guys play it?
Well, we didn't do a lot. Harry was having a new baby, and we gigged. I think last year we didn't get to do much. We did maybe 15 shows because there was a lot going on, and Harry was having a new baby. I was going into full-time ministry at a church in North Carolina, so it was like a back and forth thing. But when we came back, we decided to go ahead and finish everything and get it put out there, and we restarted everything. So now we're starting to get a lot more gigs, and some major gigs like the Striper gig. Which was
awesome.
fun, by the way.
Yeah.
That was just really amazing, and those guys came back and was like, man, great show. And all four of them. I mean, I thought, well, they didn't have to do that, you know, but they were really, really sweet guys. And that's how I met you, by the way.
I know, man. That's great.
And I knew about you.
Yeah.
Because Corey kept telling me, man, you got to link up with Scott. You got to
Thank
link
you.
up with Scott. And I was like, yeah, okay. All right, let's do it. But Corey Larry seems to be the nucleus for everybody, because he
does, right?
knows everybody. I call him the network king because he knows everyone.
And he's so like just gracious with his time, and I mean he's somebody that you can just call and
This is true.
He just helps you with anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's always there. I mean, if you call him, I mean.
When I was starting this show, he was very supportive and like, let me call my people, see what I can do. So
Yeah.
meant a lot.
Yeah.
So your second album, you had you guys write a lot of songs. So was it pretty easy coming up with your second album? Do you have a lot written?
Yeah, we did. We had to minimize a few things, and so it was easy for us to do this. There were some songs that we thought was our baby that we wanted to go on there, and Corey was like, "Nah, let's do these, and then." So we had to narrow it down to. I think we had 17 songs, so we had to narrow it down to this. Falling Forward is one of my favorites too. And Light Switch. And in reality, we didn't plan this, but all these songs tell a story. And You Can't Run, that was written with a buddy of mine that named Justin Land, who came in, and he has written for a lot of different worship teams like Elevation, Worship, and
Stephen Furtick.
Yep.
Preaches over there. Yeah.
Yep. New Spring. And so he's always been a friend of mine, and he came in and was like, yeah, man, I want to do a couple of songs. We had another song called Warrior, but they didn't make it. So You Can't Run. And then we did this song, Fly. Ray had this riff, and I went in the studio with Corey, and we had just found out that someone else had killed herself from Soundgarden. One of the lead singer from Soundgarden Chris Cornell had killed himself, and Corey knew him. And so it kind of changed the song. So I was really taken back by that because Corey was a little sad about that because he knew him. And I said, man, this is crazy. There's a lot of suicide out here, and I just wonder what happens in those moments and what make a person, being very sympathetic to it, of course, those families that have lost people to suicide. So we kind of dedicated that song to that. And, one of the things that I say in the first verse is, what did I let get in my head causing me to shut out God again? It seems so hard to understand, but you would never know from the smile I give. So we walk around a lot and laugh and joke, and sometimes you never know what's going on with a person. So we kind of dove deep into that a little bit, and that's one of my favorite songs. But Light Switch,
Right there.
that's our single.
It's a good
I'm
single.
excited about it. It's a really, really heavy-hitting song.
Where can you find it at?
You can find it on iTunes. It's
iTunes.
ready and
Nice.
available right now. It's on iTunes. It's only 99 cents.
Are you going to make a video for it?
Yes, we are.
Nice.
We are. And
I know a guy that does videos.
Yeah, me too. I just talked to him. We're gonna have to talk, but we do a lot of stuff with both of them films too. They're gonna do. In fact, they're the ones who got us nominated for the award for Bend. So we won an award for Bend, and it was crazy because when we went out there, we went to Orlando, and it ended up being me and Ray, the guitar player, and we couldn't get everyone to go. So we thought, we're gonna go down here. It's gonna be about 10, 15 people, and we didn't know what to expect. And we get there, and it's this big gala, like it's huge. They got the red carpet. The local news is there. It's about 2,000 people there. Wow. And so we're sitting there now, we're going up against these giant Christian artists, and we're thinking, we're not gonna win. And they called our name, and I screamed like a little girl. I was like, and it took us forever to get down there because our seats were way in the back. So I was like,
did they have the camera on you when you were screaming?
Like, we're coming. And the music ran out. They had the music, so till you get there and everything, it's playing. It's supposed to play to bring you up.
Yeah.
Well, the music cut off by the time we got up there. We're here. I want to thank God first. We couldn't believe it. We
That's
couldn't
great.
believe we won. So that was great to get that. It was phenomenal.
That's amazing. Amazing
Very
story.
exciting time.
And so, and on this album too, how did you hook up with Rich Ward? Did you say he was on Devil Be Gone? Is that
Yeah,
the song?
it was just a phone call.
Wow.
Corey Laurie. He said, I know who can play on this song. And I was like, okay. And he's like, oh, I got Rich to play it. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And so I was coming in the studio and Rich was bringing the track. And I was like, hey, man. Of course, I've been knowing Rich for like 20-something years.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, thank you so much. He's like, no problem. Rich is another one of those people, too, that you can call on. And he's always there, too.
Exactly.
If he's home. If he's not on the road. But, yeah, so it was easy. I mean, he just called him up, and he came out and did it. Now, originally, I'm going to be honest, Devil Be Gone was a solo project that I was doing, and it ended up being on the Hope Sanker CD, which was cool. I mean, it was fine, no big deal. We were down in there, and Harry had just had a baby. Yeah, Harry has a lot of kids. Yes.
Yeah, that's a
Sorry,
common
Harry.
theme.
You got 4 kids. So we were down at Jeff's studio, and we were writing this song, and Corey Laurie pulled out an old song his dad had did, and it was like this bluesy,
Wow, that's cool.
foot stomping, and I was like, that's what I want to do right there. I want to do that right there, Corey. He's like, oh, no, you can't do that song. That's that old blues stuff. I was like, no, I want to do that. And so, of course, we revamped it a little bit, but it's just 4 to the floor. I mean, it's like foot stomping, blues, swamp rock. That's what that song is, Devil Be Gone.
Yeah.
And so Jeff, just so happened he came in, he's like, he phoned in a lyric. He's like, oh, I hear a lyric. And he phoned it in. And we just kind of, and Corey did his editing, was like, no, not that, not that, not that. And we just kind of collaborated on that. So Jeff dove in on that song, but we was sitting there and I was listening to a lot of his dad's stuff, and I loved his dad's previous music.
Yes, I got one of his records that I found somehow.
It's phenomenal,
Yeah.
man. He's like oh my gosh, man. I see where Corey and Clint, where they get their talent from, man. And his mom sounds phenomenal too. She's a great singer, Janis Joplin. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard her stuff, but
I don't know, probably not.
oh, it's phenomenal. Well,
I'd love to though.
yeah, you should ask Corey about
I should.
that. But anyway, so that's how we came up with a lot of that stuff.
So you mentioned solo a couple of times. Were you thinking like to do a solo band? Was it like after Hope Sorrow, or would you ever revisit?
No, I
this in
think
that side project?
I think what it was is that I started out doing a solo project, and I just never finished it. So no, I'm not thinking about doing that now. It was just at the time it was just these little inserts, but
Yeah.
right when it would happen, the guys would show up, and I'd be like, "Oh, cool, the band's here. Let's do a scene." I mean, I know it sounds nonchalant, but in reality, I've always was riding to do a solo project, but I've never reached that yet. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's in the plans at all in the near future. I think right now everything's about Hope's Anchor. And
What's your touring schedule like for Hope Sanker? Where can people come see you play?
well, we're going to be playing downtown Woodstock, July the 29th. There's this huge festival that's going on. And we go on at 5 o'clock because there's a lot of artists. And we're still new artists, so we get that slot where you
Yeah, that new-
we're not new artists, but to some people we are. But so we got that 5 o'clock slot there, and then August the 23rd we're going to be playing with We Are Messengers in Burlington, North Carolina. Then I think we got another one coming up in Orlando. It's a secret. I can't say it. They was like, don't talk about that right now. We got a few things happening that I really can't say. It's really kind of silly, but whatever. I won't say it, guys.
We'll beep it out.
Yeah. But no, just go to our website, www.hopesanchorband.com.
Okay.
And there you can see all the things that we're doing.
You guys on like social media and Twitter? And
Yeah, we're on
Instagram?
Facebook, we're on Instagram.
Nice.
You can also go to Spotify and get, you can hear this CD, and you can hear maybe one song, I believe, off of the new one. It's on Spotify, Pandora. We have our own radio station on Pandora. So
Nice.
it's pretty cool.
That is
And they lined us up with a bunch of different artists that I thought, that's interesting. We're with Maroon 5. Okay. but I don't know how they do that. I don't know how that pans out.
they
but
needed some Lenny Kravitz on your station.
yeah, they do. You guys need to add Lenny Kravitz to that. My wife liked that. So.
Is there anything else going on with Hopes Anchor? What is?
Yeah,
else you
we got
going?
a huge meeting coming up that could determine a lot of things. And we'll wait and see, and that'll be the second time I come out and do the interview.
All right,
with
deal.
Make that happen. I just want to give a shout out to Ray Hims and Harry Wally, Jeff Wood, both from Films, and my wife Tori Johnson, who graciously came out here on our anniversary weekend.
Nice.
And so when we leave here, we're going to go celebrate that. 14 years of marriage. It's been great. I don't know how she did it, but
That's great.
anyway, I thank God for this moment because, in reality, God has just led us down this path. So, we're a Christian band that ended up playing in a lot of clubs and a lot of nightclubs. So we would go when we would play nightclubs and we would do our Christian music. And, well, in the rock form, you've heard it.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy. And then we would get through and they would be like, are you guys a Christian rock band? And we're like, yeah, didn't you listen to the music? Yeah, we listened to it, but we didn't catch that vibe. So, we're honored by that. And we've always considered ourselves a Christian rock band that can play nightclubs, not a Christian rock that plays nightclubs.
Right.
Not saying we won't, but we can. And now we're really diving over into a lot of churches and stuff and doing that.
Well,
So,
hopefully radio will pick up something sometime.
Yep,
You know?
that's the next phase. That's the stuff that I can't talk about right now.
okay,
But
see?
there's something like that coming down the line that we're excited about too, and so be listening out for that. I've made a couple of friends at a few radio stations that enjoy our music, and so we're going to see what happens with that.
Great. Well, Swift, man, I appreciate you being here, man.
Thank you so
Means a
much,
lot.
Scott, man. You do excellent work, by the
Thank
way.
you,
Your
man.
crew
Yeah,
is
too.
phenomenal, super
They
nice
are.
people,
Yeah.
and we need a guy that can clean glasses.
We have that too.
So yeah, you need to get that
All
guy
right.
with the. That's a little backstage humor there. I don't know if